Here's the question every finance and procurement team needs to answer. Did we pay for what we actually ordered and received? In SAP, that answer is spread across multiple tables, transaction codes and reports. Let me show you how they fit together and how to read the whole picture. A single purchase order touches more than 20 tables in its lifetime. If you found our SAP purchasing data model, you'll see we've mapped all of it so you don't need to. Here's the whole thing on one screen laid out as the purchase to pay life cycle. Requisition, purchase order, goods receipt, invoice. One flow reading live from SAP on the permissions I already have. It starts with the requisition, then the purchase order itself across header and line items, joined on the document number. Around them sits the order history, which records every goods receipt and invoice against each line. For each receipt, we follow the material document into MKPF and MSEG, so we know what physically arrived and when. And for each invoice, we read the invoice document, header and line. Now all three sides sit together, ordered, received and invoiced. Plus the supporting data that makes it readable, all in the same flow. And now the point of it all. I run the flow and the purchasing data lands in Power BI live with no staging database in between. Here's the reconciliation line by line, what was ordered, what was received and what was invoiced. On this purchase order, 8 were ordered, 3 received and those 3 have been invoiced, so that's what we've taken in, what we've been billed for and both match up. In one view your team can see what's matched, what's over or under and what's outstanding, and refresh it whenever they need to. We can also quickly check for discrepancies between deliveries and invoices. Here I see 5 PO lines where there's a mismatch, and I can narrow it down further to those where the quantity is correct but there's a value discrepancy. I can now take this even further by choosing a specific PO. I can then call back into SAP to get the goods receipt and the invoice line details. That gives us an interactive dashboard from Power BI into SAP to help me narrow down any causes of variances. Power BI is just one way to see this. Here's the same reconciliation as a web page. I didn't hand code this app, I built it with Claude, an AI assistant, straight on top of the same flow, so your live SAP data can power a custom app without a development project behind it. The tiles show what was ordered, received and invoiced, and flag the exceptions that need attention. I can search for one order or filter to just the variances, and when I click into an order, it reads the related receipts and invoice lines straight back from SAP right now. The receipts even net off the reversals so the quantities are true. The same governed data straight from SAP in whatever front end you prefer. Claude doesn't need to see any of my data to build the app, it only reads the metadata of the flow config files to learn the input and output shapes. All of this runs through the standard SAP application layer. Nothing touches the database directly and there's no ABAP for you to write. So, back to the question we started with. Did you pay for what you ordered and received? Now your team can answer that in seconds in the tools they already use. The same data goes just as easily to Excel, Snowflake, Databricks or Microsoft Fabric. With DVW you can read and write SAP data from any analytics or data platform. Start a free trial and see your own SAP purchase orders end to end.